First of all, we must understand communications is the key for everything. The societies develop, the countries develop only when there is an efficient communication established. Now, when we're talking about communications, we have roads, large number of roads, like we have almost 50,000 kilometers of state highway. We have the major district roads and other district roads. The entire thing is almost 150,000. And if you take into account the village roads and everything, is almost around 300,000 kilometers. But what expressway brings to table is completely different perspective. It talks about a very fast communication. See, one thing we must realize, there is the agricultural hinterland and there is a consuming center. Now, Maharashtra is one of those fortunate states which is almost 50% urbanized. The future of development is urbanization. Whatever happened. What is development of Europe or what is development of America? We're talking about almost 90 to 98% of the population in urban centers. Number one. Not only population, but people whose livelihood is dependent on agriculture needs to be drastically reduced. Right from independence to today, when we were dependent on agriculture 80%, now the agriculture GDP of the country, the percentage that is contributed by agriculture is around 20%. So when it comes to value, this percentage will keep going down. And the value which is in services, in technology, which is manufacturing, it is going to go up. That is where the comforts of life are created. So the development necessarily means a higher level of comfort, even for the rural population. Now, what will happen to rural population is there will be urbans, like we have 300 towns. So more and more people go towards towns because there will be jobs. See, no farmer wants to make his son a farmer. So everybody wants a non-farm employment because there is a higher level of standard of life. Two-thirds of Maharashtra's hinterland, agricultural hinterland, is getting connected on the expressway. This entire hinterland otherwise was not as well connected with Mumbai or JNPT. JNPT is one port where 65% of the total containerized cargo of the country is actually handled. So the level of jobs or the number of jobs, what has created in the Mumbai or MMR or PMR or Nasik metropolitan area, these three towns or this triangle contributes almost 60% of the state GDP. So when you become part of this value chain, becoming part of the value chain is very important. If it takes from Bandara to Mumbai 20 hours, we actually don't connect with Mumbai. You value in the same poverty or the low level economy or low level of income. So idea is to enhance the level of income of the masses. That happens when there is movement of goods, movement of manpower, services. That's how we are looking at it. Now, the whole thing doesn't stop here. We're not talking about only these 10 districts to be connected straight. We said other 14 districts are there who also come on this expressway within 20 minutes to 1 hour. But the vision that Maharashtra government has is to connect each district of Maharashtra to an expressway. This entire grid gives you a capability of connecting any part of the state in 6 to 8 hours. You look at South Korea. Why I'm giving these examples? Because we started 75 years before at the same level of development or non-development or poverty or lack of industrial infrastructure or lack of manufacturing infrastructure, lack of communication. Because the first expressway which was constructed in South Korea in 1972, Seoul Busan, 400 kilometers. Vehicles, there are no vehicles which are flying beyond 60 kilometers per hour, but the road was constructed for 120 kilometers per hour speed. And people are laughing, why are you constructing such kind of expressways? Take the most important example of China, which had no expressways till 1995. Between 97 and 2022, they have more than 150,000 kilometers expressway, 160,000 kilometers of expressway, and we still have not completed 2,000 kilometers. So we have a long way to go. And what had happened? In 1990, when we were at par with China on GDP, on per capita income, on level of economic development. Now they are 5 times ahead. Exactly 5 times, 5x. We must understand the contribution of big infrastructure. And the big infrastructure starts, one, with expressways. So when we are talking about what kind of impact it is going to be there is going to be impact on the farmers' lives, because the connectivity will establish that whatever agriculture produce is going to market is going to go in. Because agriculture produce is perishable. It needs to reach markets in defined time frame. Otherwise, it goes west. When we are talking about education, today uh, education centers are in particular cities. But across the expressway, we are expecting some educational towns, academic towns to come. Now, place like Igatpuri, which will develop as a tourism hub automatically. In fact, now I am seeing the development. See, 2016, we actually drew the line, and what we are seeing today, the prices which have gone up in the Igatpuri vicinity, and the kind of tourism infrastructure which is being planned there is to be seen to be believed. So it makes an impact on the lives of the local people. It makes an impact on the lives of trade, commerce. So far, manufacturing was concentrated in Pune, Nasik, Mumbai, some part in Aurangabad. But now manufacturing will go beyond Aurangabad. See, beyond Aurangabad, we never thought about any manufacturing big setup to be actually started. Now people will be looking forward to starting bigger industry units. Even the local boys and girls will get jobs in the manufacturing sector that will come across. Logistics is going to be a huge sector. People are exploring a lot of logistics opportunities across the expressway. Number of things which are going to help only the local population. Nobody is going to go from Bombay and work there in Washim or in Amravati or in Budhana. So the local population, local youth, local job seekers, they will be. The trigger was actually to promote implementation of sustainable development goals. See, you cannot only plan a sustainable development goal and then do nothing about it. Sustainable development is basically taking development to all the corners so that people don't come to the bigger urban centers. Migration to Mumbai, Pune, Nasik, urban, that migration should not be there, because that is putting lot of pressure here, water resources, environment. So smaller towns are going to be more environment friendly. Instead of more people coming to Mumbai, more people coming to Pune, if you have bigger towns, bigger urban centers, spread across the state. As I said, if there are 300 towns, out of those 300 towns, even 50 towns become bigger centers. That is what is more welcome. So basically, to spread across the state, uh, proper development, especially urban development, to be spread across. For example, if you do not think about smaller towns with water and sanitation facilities, now water management is only talked about or spoken about in bigger cities. When better talent goes there, or better practices go there, better engineering practices are taken to the smaller districts and smaller towns, automatically you make it more sustainable, more environment friendly, and simultaneously at the same time, it is actually enhancing the quality of life there. If we're talking about Washing, if we're talking about Mekar, we're talking about Karanjala, at such places, or at Vardha, or at Kulgaon, if these towns develop in a different fashion, or RV, then we realize otherwise all development, we talk about development only with the context of the metropolis, not about the smaller plant. Developing smaller towns reduces pressure on the metropolises. Thank you. Actually, in fact, this is an extremely important question, because when we started this project in 2016, we said this will be the only highway where we are going to plan towns in advance. The example is, wherever you create expressways, wherever you create trunk connectivities, wherever there are exits of such connectivities, automatically some development takes place there. But that development is not in a planned way. So you cannot actually realize complete value. So what we said, When you plan such kind of expressway, and wherever there are exits, let us explore possibility of planned development of new communities. Like they say, Rome was not built in a day. The towns are not built in 10 years or 20 years. It takes much longer. And we have experience in Maharashtra with Sidco. Sidco was conceived as an institution which will build new towns, and it is on scene for last 53 years. So that has made a great change. So we have some discipline, we have some experience in Maharashtra of building new towns which will be completely planned, which will not be haphazard in its own way, which will create more value out of it. So we initially identified 24 locations where new towns can come. Why these new towns? Because the hinterland of agriculture hinterland of that particular town is going to actually add value to the place. As I said, there is an exit. There is going to be some development. Instead of some development, we said we'll plan it out. So the entire agriculture hinterland reinforces the value of this place, whether it is logistics, whether better academic centers, whether better health facilities, fire brigade, even government centers. In fact, government service center, government services, they could be actually delivered there. So this is where these 24 locations were initially identified. Then when we went for feasibility, we realized 18 towns are feasible. Out of 18 towns, in fact, what the then Honorable Chief Minister, now Deputy Chief Minister, Fadnis have said, we will call them Krishi Samruddhi Kendra. Why Krishi Samruddhi Kendra? Because we expect these towns to make actually to bring prosperity to the hinterland, agriculture hinterland. So that's why they are called Krishi Samruddhi Kendra. We have now identified and notified 18 townships. 8 townships we have gone ahead and started doing the planning activities. We have come to the existing land use level. Now the proposed land use, distribution of plots, taking over of land, these activities will come up. As I said, it will take time. Once land is identified, then it is acquired, then basic facilities like road, light and water is brought there. Then small industries or anchor industries come there. And for that industry state to take a shape takes almost 20-25 years. So what we expect, down the line 10 to 20 years, you will have excellent uh, 18-20 towns across this expressway. This entire expressway is going to be huge logistic corridor. See, it is not, this expressway is not going to stop at Nagpur. We are already notified expressway up to Gondia, and then it is, with even if government of India taking keen interest, this will automatically reach Calcutta. When you connect Calcutta to Mumbai, and you have logistics centers. As I said, this Krishi Samruddhi Kendra, they are also going to be warehousing hubs. Like agricultural produce comes there, the warehousing logistics per se is not only storing. Please understand, it is basically procurement of agricultural produce there, processing it, actually segregating it properly, packing it, and then transporting it further. It will have storage, it will have processing, it will have packaging, repackaging, and come from one center, distribute to multiple center, bring from multiple centers, send it to single center. So it's a different economy, and this corridor will actually be a logistics corridor. See, very good question. Let me tell you, whether we are just saying that we have planned a road, this is a notification, this is the land. It's not like that. It's something beyond that. We have engaged services of CBRE. We are working with EY also. We have tentatively said at this center, these activities will take shape. We are talking to industry. We had even planned a road show. It did not take place. Now we'll be taking it further. There will be road shows, there will be industry conclaves, we're talking to them, and we are anyway informally and even at back channel. We are talking to industry. We are talking to MIDC also. We are wanting MIDC to take proactive interest in this. This process is going on. In our category, besides, at one point of time, 22,000 acres or 25,000 acres of land was ever acquired for a single project. Single project running across. Maybe for a dam you acquire, but that is localized for say one taluka, two talukas, or one district. Here, 10 districts, 26 talukas, 22 subdivisions across Maharashtra, almost the length of Maharashtra. So this was a challenge, and different cultures, even laws are different, even land laws. There are some different implications because Vidarbha had different set of land laws, Marathwada had different set of land laws, and Western Maharashtra had different set of land laws. So legacy laws. So legacy practices were different. Whereas the land acquisition law is same, by and large, land revenue code has been able to actually sort out all these issues. But there are legacy issues. So when we go across, for example, there is Inam in some part. Madad, and that is called in Hyderabad state, that Aurangabad Jala is Madad Mahash, and all kinds of words that in fact people in West Maharashtra may not be even knowing, or people, so what people in Vidarbha use as a particular term for a particular activity, people in Marathwada will not know. So the challenges were there. Second challenge is more difficult, in fact more than that, because different laws, different practices is a challenge, but it's a simpler challenge. Biggest challenge is people not trusting, because people had actually gone for almost 120 years, the Land Acquisition Act of 1894. When we started, the new Land Acquisition Act had come. Earlier Act, the experience with the earlier Act was not very good with people because they didn't get compensation, which is the market level. Actually, when we started our service, we used to calculate compensation of land at the lowest of the price in that area. That's how we were trained. That when you are acquiring for sovereign, in eminent domain with the eminent domain principle. So we always used to acquire it at the lowest price. It is for the larger good, a smaller sacrifice. All kinds of jargons were there. Now with LAR of 2013, that is Land Acquisition, Right to Fair Compensation Act, there we are saying that now today's market value, number one, and a multiple of that, and 4 times of that. And now, in case of consent, Maharashtra went a step further in May 2015. We said, if you give consent, I'll give you 5 times of the market value in that area. So but people didn't have experience of such kind of compensation. They said, no, this is all gas. They did not trust that government will give such kind of compensation. Forget about compensation. Compensation is the second thing. But I feel I'm losing my home and heart. I'm being displaced. It is only post facto that people have realized that they are not displaced. If I have lost 2 acres of land, I have purchased 3 acres or 4 acres of land, and still I am left with some surplus. So this is that's why it is called Samruddhi Mahamarg. Everybody whose land is acquired is better placed today than he was there before 2018-19. What actually saved us, or actually sailed us through, was engagement. We created a communications and project monitoring office, CPM. This was the first of its kind we created. Second stage we went to was in the 395 villages, 392 villages that we are acquiring land. We deployed one person who was a communicator to convince people, to clarify to people what his land. See, this was not an opaque transaction. This was not an opaque. Our guy used to go to the farmer, say, your land is valued like this. This is the principle. This is what your land belongs to, which class, because there is classification of land. Whether your land is now, why it is not being treated as Bhagayat, or why is it being treated as Hangangme Bhagayat. So everywhere, this communication was extremely important. And with this, it's smooth, and that's how we could acquire the entire stretch of land in 9 to 10 months or maybe 12 months. What happened in Nasik, the biggest agitation which happened, in that tract, the person who was leading agitation, he was the first to receive compensation. He said, no, we now realize what government was promising is actually delivering. It is delivering beyond what we expected. So there is no reason now for us to keep agitating. That's what he said. See, it's very important that local people are involved in all the job creation. Whatever job creation is in that area, and it's going to be massive. What we're expecting, this entire stretch will create around 500,000 jobs over a period of 10 years. So it is only local people who will get this kind of jobs, simply because nobody is going to come from outside there. But this particular engagement of people or involvement of people or providing jobs to them, please understand, investment is going to come there. manufacturing activity will be there, logistics activities are going to be. So it is only local people who will be there in construction, in management, in back office, in the front office, in the sales, in the marketing. So it's not going to be skill sets which are required to be brought from outside. See, it was necessary to communicate to the people who make or who actually build opinions that the effort of the government is to be compliant with laws, compliant with the environmental concerns, to be compliant with forest conservation concerns, because there is a general perception that government is callous entity. They do not bother about compliances, or the officers actually ignore it. And this was the largest land acquisition project. At one point of time, at one stage, 700 kilometers was never constructed. There is a forest clearance, there is a wildlife clearance process which is mandated by law. With what we said, we went to Wildlife Institute of India. He said, "Okay, look, we have consultants. They are making plans and they are making propositions which will be in line with what are the prescriptions of forest clearances and wildlife clearances and environment. But if you proactively suggest us and you become our partner, so that you monitor compliance also, you design it, become our partner in implementation, and come with us for the monitoring post project." I went to Wildlife Institute of India, gave a presentation there, got the entire team on, because Wildlife Institute of India is the premier institute of government of India. It is what exactly is the knowledge center of government of India on the wildlife activity. So that helped a lot. That there was a sincerity, and if we were suggested X number of steps, Wildlife Institute said, "Okay, let us do X plus Y." So we delivered X plus Y. They wanted us to do 100 more wildlife friendly structures. We did it. It costs actually, with this intervention, it costs additional 350 crores. But we said, "Ki, we will do that," and we went ahead and completed it. So that is where the whole difference was, that we were not only compliant with the book, but we went beyond the book. Like there are only two sanctuaries, Katipurna Sanctuary and one Radheshyam Sanctuary. And we are not going through any sanctuary. We are not even going through the mandatory buffer. We are going, but we are close to it. We said, ki, when we said, ki, look, we are going through these three wildlife sanctuaries. They said, ki, why? We will actually examine the entire stretch of 700 kilometers. And then they made the entire 700 kilometers a wildlife friendly expressway. See, what will add value to Mumbai Nagpur Samruddhi Highway is basically the grid. Now, this Samruddhi Highway goes to Gondia, this goes to Chandrapur, this from Jalna goes to Nanded. So, what will add value is this particular network. See, I don't know whether it's a game changer, but it's a very interesting proposition. For example, while giving environment clearance and forest clearance, we were told that we should plant 865,000 saplings. We said, "We'll plan it." And they said, "You should choose the species in conservation forest and botanical survey of India also." So we'll do. Then we planned everything. Then the way we spoke about 120 meters width of the right of way. Then our 15 meters is the median. So median plantation, slope plantation, avenue plantation, and then what should be at the edges. We realized that we could actually plant as many as 3.3 million saplings, 33 lakh saplings. That's what we did. We said, these saplings, the payment for the contractor is on survival. We are going to be monitoring of that. So then there is the edge, there is a compound wall there. We are putting bamboo plantation there. See, basically it is a straight highway. So bamboo will give a very beautiful kind of vista. When you look at it, so it will become an extremely beautiful thing. When you are actually going across all 700 kilometers, and you have bamboo wall on either side, it's going to look extremely different. And it's a commercial plantation, so you don't have to go back to forest for clearances. Now. This is one. It will protect it. In fact, in some stretches, the wind is very strong, so that should protect. After bamboo plantation, the second stage is of avenue plantation. There are three layers of avenue plantation. Wherever there is cutting in the hills, on the slopes we are planting creepers. All this is very planned and very detailed. But while doing this, what we said, ki saplings do not survive if there is no water. So what we're putting in is a pipeline of almost 10,000 kilometers. I suppose it will take another 2-3 years for us to see this road as a green road, and maybe 10 years down the line, you will see it. One of the most beautiful stretches of expressways ever seen anywhere.